Welcome back, everybody, to Surviving Hollywood. I'm Johnny Ray Diaz.
I am Aaron Arnold.
I'm Austin Arnold.
And we just sat down with actress Ciera Payton, who is probably most notably known from the new TV show The Oval on BET.
Wednesday nights.
Tune in.
There it is. We just talked to her about her acting career. She's done a bunch of different things, from working with Steven Seagal, starting off, to now being on The Oval, and also working with Tyler Perry on other various projects.
Yeah. She tells us how she started in New York, North Carolina, got her first agent. If you're an actor coming up in this business, she told great stories.
Yeah, she was a really lovely guest, I thought. She told us basically starting in New Orleans after Katrina hit. She got wiped out basically. Moved to New York. I think she booked the Steven Seagal thing in New York.
She booked it in New Orleans,
where she was in
New
college.
Orleans.
Yeah.
Okay. But she basically talks about, waiting tables, seeing celebrities, and how eventually she went from an extra on a Tyler Perry movie to booking a Tyler Perry movie. And now she's in, obviously, the Tyler Perry show on BET, The Oval. So it's just like a success story all around. It's great.
And I thought it was kind of cool that she talked about some of those projects that you got close to. Like she said, it was between her and someone else for Shameless. I mean, being testing for that and testing for other multiple shows. And it's like where you get so close, and it's like, then back on Monday, got to go back to the restaurant to wait tables.
And then you go, well, it's okay. Shameless probably going to have one season maybe.
Right.
But
No, people won't even know that show. Oh, wait.
Still on.
There it is.
Is it still on?
I think so.
Yeah, it's still on. I don't even know what season they're on now. But I really liked talking to her. She also had a cosmetic line that we kind of got into, vegan cosmetic line.
For sensitive skin. She said she made it herself because on set, all the products would always irritate her skin. And she's like, what if they want me to wear something and I can't do it?
Aaron was excited about that.
Uh-huh. I already ordered some.
Quit ramming your veganism down our throats.
Hey, that's what I do. Anyway, I thought it was a really good conversation.
Loved it.
She was lovely.
I predict big things for her. You can just tell.
Yeah.
She's very lovely.
Well, that came true, dude, because
It's
big
already
things are happening.
Wow.
It's
Can I pick them?
The wheels are turning. And it was a lot of fun. I think you guys would get a lot out of it, especially those struggling actors out there. Hey, there's 3 of them right here. So we get it. We get it. So you guys just stay tuned.
Yeah.
Well, you were actually just telling us right before we kicked off that you're from New Orleans.
I'm from New Orleans.
And I sadly brought up the fact about the Saints.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, by the way.
I know. They break my heart, but
Close.
very close.
You're getting close.
I feel like Drew Brees, he has just one more left in him.
You think so? I think he's still got a couple.
Oh, okay.
A couple years.
Well, thank you.
I don't know.
I'll take. No, I'm talking about one more ring.
Oh,
in
okay.
him.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I thought you meant like
other-
years playing.
Oh no,
Okay.
I'm sure he could play until he's like 60.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, he's still elite.
I guess.
Yeah,
still
yeah,
elite.
man, that's the breeze.
It
But no,
is.
I have faith in my Saints. I mean, I don't keep up that much, but I was born on Super Bowl Sunday, so it's in my
Really?
my blood.
Okay.
Football. So
All right.
I could tap in here and there and be like, okay, this is gonna be a good season.
So now that you live in Los Angeles, are you partially a Rams fan?
No.
Okay. No, it's okay.
Unfortunately,
I hate the Rams, by the way. Just throwing it out there.
I don't think people in Los Angeles are Rams fans.
I don't think they know that we have a football team. Yeah. Like,
Well, once the stadium opens up, then it'll
exactly.
be official.
Yeah, I would love to go to a game though. Like,
Totally.
I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. You can see them play the Saints, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I would go for.
Right. That's the
and then
advantage.
just grab my Mardi Gras stuff and just go and have a good time.
So, when did you actually move down here from New Orleans, or how was that?
I didn't move here directly from New Orleans,
Okay.
and it's actually funny. This year is my 10th anniversary in Los Angeles.
Welcome.
So yes,
Nice.
yes. But I moved out here from New York.
Okay.
10 years ago. And that just came about because it was just a crazy whirlwind of a story. But I was living in New York, doing the actor thing there, working at a restaurant, Joe Allen Restaurant on 48th Street.
Check them out.
Yeah. What? They have the best meatloaf there. And by the way, I served meatloaf to Al Pacino.
At the restaurant.
At the restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hoo-ah.
Exactly.
He said that when you gave it to him.
I think he did actually. He was like, meatloaf. And I was like, there you go.
That's what you want.
But no, that was like just a really famous restaurant in New York because it's right next to, some of the theaters. And so all the actors, after, they finished getting out of hair and makeup on their Broadway show, they would come in and, come get a cappuccino or something at Joe Allen Restaurant. So shout out to them.
And you'd give them your headshot?
We would probably get fired if we did that.
Frowned upon.
Yeah. They knew that we all were actors there. And, but so I was working there. I had been living in New York for about 2.5 years by that time. Just graduated from college. And I always heard, don't go out to LA until LA calls you. And so I, was doing my thing in New York, doing some theater. I booked some commercials. I got my first soap opera gig there. And
how do you think that kind of compares to here a little bit? Do you feel like it was tougher over there than here?
No, actually.
Okay.
When I got to New York, the transition was really easy. Also the school that I went to, we have a lot of alumni from that school that live in New York. So the community,
plug you in.
The community that we lived in, the neighborhood was Astoria, Queens, where a lot of alumni just live. So it was just like being back in college.
Who are some alumni? Anybody that we would know? Or just working people?
Working people, but there's we got Wesley Taylor, who's on Broadway, Isaac Powell, who he's engaged to. Mandy Patinkin went to our school.
Nice.
Mary Louise Parker.
I recognize those two.
Yeah. Jada Pinkett actually went to our school, but for like a year.
Okay.
Before she met Tupac.
Yeah, exactly. I think she knew Tupac by that time. But
they grew up together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. So it was the transition was way easier going out to New York and just kind of having a couple people hold my hand and not feel so alone and isolated. Like I moved up there with a girlfriend of mine who was in college with me. Like her dad just came to our dorms and was like, "I'm gonna help you ladies pack. We're gonna drive this U-Haul up to New York and we're gonna get an apartment." I was like, "Heck yeah, let's do it."
Was the plan to always kind of do theater, or was it just kind of like I'm just figuring it out?
For me, it was because I had such a different path. For me, I had got my first taste of doing film by doing Flight of Fury with Steven Seagal while I was in college. And so at first when I went to college, I was like, I can totally see myself doing theater, being on Broadway. I have a profound respect for theater. It shaped me and taught me everything I need to know about acting. But when I went and I did that movie, I was like, wow, there's something there.
You booked that in college?
Mm-hmm, in college.
Whoa, you must have been the big deal.
It was definitely
Steven Seagal, I mean.
Yeah, I mean it was an interesting time.
Intense.
Now, Steven Seagal.
Intense, yeah.
Oh well, with Steven.
Working with him?
Yeah, no, it was great working with Steven.
Right.
But like being the only person in my class working on like a feature film and going back to school, it was interesting.
Steven Seagal, known to be level-headed and just all around nice guy. Was he nice to you as a co-star?
He was nice,
Okay.
and he actually taught me a lot of stuff about the business. But
Cool.
Like what?
one of the really cool things that he taught me was all the combat and fight stuff, which I was
Nice.
like, heck yeah, like I got to like learn how to shoot a gun from Steven Seagal,
Whoa.
which was like
Nice.
really cool.
Don't they hire a professional to teach you?
Well,
he
he's
is
a
a professional
professional,
fighter.
Okay, all right.
yeah, and gosh, it's terrible. I'm gonna forget what the fighting form is that he is highly skilled at.
It's
He's probably listening
Aikido?
right now.
Aikido,
actually.
Yeah. So yeah, he was like all trained and all of that. But there was just when I first got there, I never even stood in front of a camera before. I didn't even know what a mark was. I didn't know any of that stuff. And my first scene when I went there was my fight scene. And there was a point where, I had to like point the gun and shoot the girl. And I didn't even know like the certain like on-set etiquette that you have when you're holding weapons. And I was just like, you know, after they yelled cut and everything, I'm still holding this gun and
Pointing
like
at
just
the
like
director,
pointing it
like,
around
so
and stuff.
any notes or
exactly, you know, like, and so stuff like that. Like Steven was just kind of like, hey, you know, like put the gun away. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. But yeah, so I did that. I left school for about 6 weeks and went to go shoot that in Romania. Came back to school and I stayed in school. I was like, I'm gonna get this degree, you know.
Did you book that through an agent? Like, did you have an agent
did.
in college?
No, well, not technically. So basically, 2005 Hurricane Katrina had hit New Orleans, and prior to that, I was working at a restaurant. So I would go back home during the summers while I was away for college. I would come back home, go work at my restaurant job, and also I was teaching at the same time too at a summer camp. And there was a lady that she used to come in all the time, and she was a local agent. She just was always like, if you're ever interested, give me a call. And I gave her my information at one point, and she used to just like send me on little like model calls here and there. But, you know, we never like signed a contract, or she never was like exclusively repping me. So Katrina had hit, and I was just kind of, you know, everything you saw in the news that happened, like it totally affected my family. We were displaced. I had actually gone back to school after Katrina because I had to evacuate. I was in Baton Rouge for about 10 days, separated from my family. And my school actually wired me $500 to just, you know, figure out a way to get back to North Carolina because we just didn't have, we were just stranded. I was with...
no resources, nothing.
No, nothing. Yeah. I mean, it took me... until like I drove out of Louisiana and I made it into Mississippi to finally like find gas for my car because like I would have been stranded on the side of the road. Yeah. So you know, it was just a really just devastating time. Yeah. And I went back to school, and not a lot of people understood what I was going through. You know, like it was just a hard feeling and a hard thing to just kind of shake. You know, just literally losing your home, being separated from your family, all this stuff. And so
kind of pretending like nothing happened. It's like, now just go back to
and then you go to a drama school and it's like boot camp. So, and it's emotional.
They want you to use that.
Exactly.
Did it help though? I mean, using some of that maybe?
No, I mean, I think, you know, they talk about PTSD and everything. And I think I definitely experienced that on some level. So I was just very, just shell shocked, you know, and my grandmother passed away during it all too. So like after I'd gone back to school, I had to go back down to New Orleans, you know, for her funeral and stuff. Wow. So, you know, it was just all of those things that had happened, and it made me just put a lot of things in perspective because, you know, family was important, especially during that time. I didn't give a crap about materialism. I didn't, you know, there's just things that I was like, wow, there's bigger things to life. And then I'm at this drama school and, you know, we're crying because we can't memorize our lines. And so, you know, for me, I was like, wow, there has to be something bigger to life than what I'm experiencing right now. Mm. And, you know, Katrina just put a lot of that into perspective. So I actually was like, I'm going to go back to New Orleans. This was 2006. It was around Mardi Gras time. And I was just like, you know, I want to be around my people. I just want to go back to New Orleans. And at that time, I was actually seriously considering going to school to be a nurse or a doctor to some type of capacity.
Giving it all up.
Yeah.
But you decided to play one on TV.
Exactly. Yeah, right? And so, I had applied to Tulane and Loyola University, and I was like, I'm just going to go back home. I'm going to go check out these campuses. I'm going to talk to the teachers and just see what I got to do to get in. And I'm going to just, you know, go and hang out for Mardi Gras and like be with my family and stuff. And while I was home, I got that call from that agent that was like, hey, Steven Seagal's in town.
That agent that you had?
Yeah, the woman that I knew that used to come into the restaurant. She was like, he's auditioning for this movie. And I was
so that was in New Orleans then?
Mm-hmm. So and he was actually auditioning for another movie at that time. And I don't know what happened with that movie, but I auditioned for that one. And then he had this movie, Flight of Fury.
Why do you think you got it? You know, because you were like an unknown at the time.
Yeah, I think because I just had an attitude that I didn't care. Like I felt like I didn't have anything to lose. It didn't matter to me. I actually, when she called me about the audition, I was just like, yeah, okay. And I just like, you know, I was like, yeah, I'll go. And I just didn't feel like going. I just put the phone down and I just like was hanging out with my brother and we were eating and I just sat there and continued eating. And like, an hour had passed, and she was like, "They're looking for you," and I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll go." So like, and I mean, and not saying that please actors like don't do that, but
It worked for you.
it worked.
I was
for
taking
that,
notes. I'm like, all right, maybe that's what I got to do. Just
Prepare less.
I do think that there is a secret to not caring or not making it like a life or death situation. I feel like we
agree.
do that a lot.
because it really isn't. I mean,
yeah.
really, it's like it's all subjective too. It's like
I like to say outcome independent when you're going in
Yeah.
the room and just, I'm going to do my thing. And then
And you just you go in and you show them what you got, and you try to be the best puzzle piece to the puzzle that they're trying to build. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And so that was my first like real professional audition, my first professional gig.
it's kind of like this weird blessing though, because if you hadn't come back to New Orleans, would you even have
No,
done that?
I'm
so
sure.
if you had stayed in school,
Yeah.
then who knows
And I
what
think
would've happened.
on a deeper level, it was all meant to be, because the role that I was playing, I mean, coming out of Katrina, coming through such a difficult time, I felt very guarded and very, just unsure about, who I was, what I was doing. Is this acting stuff right? And then I get to play a role where, I'm really exercising my strength and my courage, and I'm fighting, physically fighting, but,
Yeah.
also, emotionally fighting, and, just really discovering my strength, as a woman and as an actor, and just as somebody that just experienced, some, immense trauma and pain. And so I think for me, it was just like my warrior calling, and I found that in that role and in that experience. And so, so that was my first experience. And that was when I was like, okay, I think film and TV is something that I definitely, can tap into. And for me, that kind of sealed the deal of like, yeah, you should be acting, Ciara, or, at least go on for the ride of it.
Right.
And
Did that really launch you? Like as soon as you
Yeah.
have that credit, did people take notice?
Doors opened.
Your agent was like, I'll sign you full time.
people saw that movie.
yeah, people saw the movie. Yes and no. I mean, it was, at the time, Steven Seagal's career was also transitioning. And so it was a direct to DVD movie.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
I
And
feel like it played on TV though.
oh yeah, it played on TV a lot actually. And so, which was, cool
Great.
for me,
Absolutely.
and for
Yeah.
everybody involved. But yeah, it opened up some doors, and, hindsight's 2020. Maybe I could have taken advantage of the opportunity more, but I was so naive to just what this business is, what this world is. If I had myself talking down to myself back then, I would have been like, go to LA, like, take this movie,
Yeah.
go show it everywhere, make a reel out of it, something. But
Did you end up sticking around then after the movie, just staying there?
I stayed in North Carolina, after the movie. And I did go back to New Orleans every summer. I ended up booking another movie and a couple of commercials after that. And then I graduated and went straight to New York and did more commercial work. And I did a couple like, Lifetime Movie of the Week type of stuff.
Nice.
And did like I said, the soap opera, All My Children. And so, it definitely helped me just kind of anchor myself into being an actor, but I was still so very green and naive, by the time I got to New York, that I was like, whoa, what is this audition process? What is this,
Is there a trick to soap opera acting
Yes.
that you found? What is it?
You have to hold those gazes. And you do, you have to slow down. You have to take your time on soap operas, but it's all just, it is dramatic, but it's like a
Right.
slow dramatic,
I had an old acting teacher once tell me that the trick on the soap opera is to pretend like you always have a secret.
Yeah.
And then one time he was like, I
believe
was
that.
on set, and then he thought about it, and he's like, I don't know what the secret is. And all of a sudden, he got really confused, and he did really badly.
Oh,
I was like,
no.
I got so involved, like, what is my secret? And then
Oh,
all of
my
a sudden, I
goodness.
just don't know what to do.
Yeah. And
He became a teacher.
Yeah, there it is.
you got to keep that secret because you're getting, shot from all different angles at one time. So
Yeah.
got to keep that secret.
And they do quick takes, right? And it's fast, and it goes everything
Yeah.
like that.
And, soap opera is very close to theater. So, because it's, you feel very like in the moment, live, there's not a lot of room for a lot of takes or starting over or anything. It's it's like being on stage for 2 hours.
So when did you decide to finally make the big move and head out west?
Yeah. So, rewind back to, sorry. I was working at the restaurant, Joe Allen restaurant, and I ended up,
De Niro walked in.
Oh yeah, that would be really cool if he did. But it was like my first taste of pilot season around that time, and so I was auditioning a lot.
You had an agent by then?
I had an agent by then, yes,
Nice.
in New York, and there was like a handful of projects that I auditioned for at once, and I just had a feeling I was like, there's something with one of these, and I don't know, but I was like, I feel something with it, and I ended up getting a call back, and I went up to the casting director's office in New York. I did the audition, and again, like I just felt like, oh, that's interesting. Like there's something with that.
What was the project?
This project was Shameless, and so
I've heard of it.
I've never heard of it.
So it's a great story on perseverance. So I'm in New York and doing my thing. I get this call back for this audition, and then a couple of days later, my agent calls and she's like, "You're going out to LA," and I was like, "Whoa, what?" And that's when I was like, "Oh, this is what they talk about. Like, don't go out to LA until LA calls you." And so I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" I was like, "Oh, you're gonna go to LA and test for Shameless." And so they fly me out. They put me up in a nice hotel, and so I go and I come out here. And I had been out here before because my school, we did a showcase out here, I think a year prior to this happening. And so it was actually, I wanted to come out here, but it was not the right time to come out to LA because the writer's strike was happening. And a lot of people were just like, trying to figure that all out and not really taking on new talent. So by the time I came out here, things had kind of lightened up a little bit. And I was like, okay. And I go over to Warner Brothers and I auditioned for John Levy. And
For what role?
For the role that Shanola ended up getting, Shanola Hampton, which I forgot.
I watched the first 5 seasons of Shameless.
Really?
But who is Shanola?
She's the only black girl on that show.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's the only one I can think of.
And you've seen all 5 seasons?
Well,
Yeah.
I know her now.
All right. Well,
She was great. She is great.
Yeah, she's great. And she was, and she and I, it got down between the two of us, and so, and I liked her a lot. She was really nice. And
You don't have to, you can just talk to us. You hated
once
her.
we stop
Oh,
recording.
no.
first of all, how do you really
Look,
feel?
and honestly, like we ran into each other a couple times since then, like nothing but love, And I'm truly a firm believer in this business. What we do is that what's meant for you is meant for you. Like no one can take it away from you. And so, I went in and we kept like just auditioning. Cause like we did our first round one day, and then like the next day we did another.
How long were you in LA for?
I was out here for a week.
Okay, and every day was new stuff.
Not every day, but it was like that Monday and Tuesday we were auditioning, and then like we had Wednesday and Thursday off, and then we came back like early morning on Friday, and there was like a handful of girls and a handful of guys. And I mean, they kept like switching us off, like, okay, you go with him, blah, 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 blah. And then they like brought us in individually. And then, and so we just kept going in. And we still didn't know by the end of the day,
Yeah. Were they having you doing it a bunch of different types of ways?
Yeah.
Like different notes every time?
And then just kind of like having us just pair us off with like.
See who works well with somebody else.
Exactly. And then it was interesting because throughout the process, they were sending people home. And so it was just like, you kind of knew like, oh man, okay.
It's like a reality show.
Yeah. And then it just like came down between me and Shanola, and then Steve Howie, I think. Yeah, that's his name. And so we were like, well, he got the role obviously for the guy, but it was like, for the two of us. And so they just kept bringing us in, and it was probably like another couple hours that we were just like.
They were probably torn.
Reading with Steve?
Yeah. And like, we just kept like, and I was like, he was probably in heaven by that time.
Sure.
Because like, we
He's
had to like keep kissing him. And like, like it was just.
He stopped trying. He's like, whatever, man. I got the role.
It was so funny. And so, so we, we didn't know anything by the end of it. And so I had to get back on a flight. and go back out to New York. And so on that Monday morning, I'm at Joe Allen restaurant putting on my apron, and I get the call, and it's like, you didn't get the part.
Damn.
And I was like, well, I guess I gotta serve this meatloaf now. Like, you know, like, and I mean, and
huge bummer.
It was quite devastating, I have to say, at that point, you know, in my life. But, you know, still I had that voice inside me. I was like, you know, this isn't the end. You know, like, this isn't going to define the end of this journey for you. And I mean, I would say the hardest thing at that point was, you know, the fact that, like, seeing the money that could have been going into, like,
hanging up that apron, you know what I mean?
You know,
it would have been nice.
Yeah, and so, you know, and I did. I cried on the job that day. Like, I mean, I'll never forget. Shout out to Jawan Corbin, who is now a director. We worked there together. He was like consoling me in the back closet, you know. But from there, I started getting a lot of calls to put myself on tape for projects that were out here in LA. And then the call was like, well, you know, can she come out here, you know, and audition, or, you know, just kind of stick around for like a month or two, because we're in pilot season now. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I can do that. So I just, you know, very, very fortunately, I booked this like Macy's commercial in New York. So I took that money and got on the next flight and came out here with my 2 suitcases and stayed at my godmother's house in Riverside. And, you know, that's just my mom. Like, she had just like sold her car or something that she had. And so she had given me some money too to, you know, get a rental car while I was out here. And so, you know, I just kind of made it work, and it was exhausting because I was living out in Riverside and driving out here almost every single day. Yeah. You know, like auditioning, and then I ended up like testing for another thing, and then like another thing, and like those things were just like not you know, working. And was
this the New York agent that was getting those, or
yeah, well, she was really good friends with the manager out here. Okay, and so they were kind of like, you know, ping ponging back and forth with me, and you know, and the Riverside stuff was just really challenging to like keep driving back and forth. So I had some friends that lived out this way, and I just was like, look, can I sleep on your couch for a little while? Like, let's just, you know, work this out. And so
they're like, well, how long exactly?
I know, you know, and that's the thing with, hey, all my friends and people that know me, like, they know I'll never like, you know, take advantage or like, you know, overstep my boundaries. So they were all like, yeah, sure. So I made sure to just give myself like 3 weeks at a time with people, or like even less, you know. And even when I was there, I was like, I'm gonna make you feel like I'm not even here. So like, do your thing, you know. And so, and then I ended up getting a job at the Waffle, you know, and
what is that?
Not to be confused with the Waffle House, right?
No,
that's what I know.
Somebody said that earlier. They were working at the Waffle. I don't remember, but that's a restaurant.
Yeah, the rest. Okay. Yeah, so the Waffle, it's been around for a minute. It's actually owned by John Papsadera and Gavin Pallone.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. Where are those people?
What area?
Casting director, right?
Yeah, casting director and writer producer, and it's in Hollywood, near the old Nickelodeon studios.
Oh. Is that only a breakfast place, or?
Yeah, we used to. Well, I don't work there anymore now, but they used to be open until like 3 a.m. But I think now they close early or something. But yeah, so I just started setting up shop, and you know, that was 2010.
You were like, I'm home.
Yeah.
Now, at some point, you had to say, "Hey, I'm in LA now, so my old agent, I'm sorry, we got to part ways."
Yeah, and that was really tough.
I know you got me Steven Seagal. I know you got me the Macy's, but
well, you know, that was actually my New Orleans agent. I kept my New Orleans agent for a little while when I was living out here, and just kind of like playing that game too, like doing the New Orleans local hire stuff, and then. But yeah, my New York agent, you know, it was really, it was a tough breakup.
For her especially.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
She's like, what about Shameless? We almost had it.
I know. Yeah. I think, you know, I ended up switching representation because I definitely wanted just people that were more tapped in here in Los Angeles.
That's fair.
So,
yeah.
You know, and that was just a little challenging, I felt, you know, because it was like she was in New York and I was out here. Right. And so, I ended up signing with Don Buchwald at that time.
Cool. But you didn't get on Howard Stern.
Howard Stern?
Yeah, because he reps Howard Stern.
Oh, no, actually, I didn't know that.
You're still with Don Buchwald?
I'm not with Don Buchwald anymore.
I was going to say, hit him up.
I know, right?
A few more years.
Yeah.
Now, what is Don Buchwald like? Because
that agency was really nice. I mean,
Did you meet him directly?
No, I think he had passed away by that time, I believe.
Oh, is he dead?
You know,
He's so
actually,
sensitive,
let me
man. So
actually,
sensitive.
my,
I don't think
you
he's
know,
dead.
let me not, because I don't know.
Yeah.
And
We have no
you guys
idea.
can fact check later on, but
Yeah.
we can edit that out. Don Buckwald, I never met him. But I know by that time his daughter was running the company. By the time I came on. So, yeah, it was a really big agency, and it was my first taste of, you know, really working with, like, you know, the LA power agency type of thing. And but they helped me really get my foot in the door. I mean, by the time 2011 came around, I mean, it was like, whoa, this is what this is like to now officially be a working actor, you know. And so I was just,
Is the power agency, as you describe it, that's way better than another agency?
A boutique.
no, I don't think so. I mean, I think there's just a lot of, you know, I said that because there's always a lot of hype around those type of agencies.
Better in
you
some
know?
ways.
Yeah,
They know
yeah.
people.
Connections.
Big
Right.
time, and just reputation.
I would
know?
imagine it's
mean,
much better.
Well, you're just
Yeah.
a smaller fish.
Exactly.
That's the trade-off.
Yeah, and I think for me, there's just something. Look, I love working, and whoever, you know, can allow that to happen or make that happen, I'm down with it. But I have such a profound respect for boutique agencies. I'm actually with like a more boutique type agency now.
Who are you with?
I'm with Pakula King and Associates. They're awesome. They've been around, I think, for 25 years or maybe longer. And they keep their list very, very short, very tight, and I like that.
Quality over quantity.
Exactly.
Yep.
And you know, it's great because you have more of a connection with them. They kind of know who you are, know your essence a little bit more, and
Yeah.
so, you know, when they're pitching you for projects, it's not so much like the specs. It's like, oh, well, this girl has that vibe, and
Right.
you know, let's see, you know, will they see her for this, even though it doesn't say blah 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 in the breakdown.
That's
So-
what you want. Yeah.
Are you friends with your agent, or is it like? I think it's more normal just to keep business professional.
We definitely have a professional relationship, but I love like kind of doing the popping by. I don't recommend that for everyone because agents are like, you know, extremely busy, and you
Yeah.
don't want
Right.
to just be like, hey, you know. But I don't do that at Clear Blue. I definitely call or send an email and be like, hey, can I come by and bring you guys some champagne or something? You know,
Whoa,
like
champagne. I was thinking
Yeah.
coffee or
Quality.
something.
yeah, hey, you know, I mean, at the end of the day,
I'm more of a Folgers guy. You know what? That's all I brought today.
hey, that's a sign of, you know, celebration or whatever. But, you know, I just I try to keep that relationship as professional as possible, and also just let them know how much I appreciate them because I know how much they work their butts off.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I know. So
Yeah. Stay on the radar a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the first like kind of bigger project you booked after you moved to LA?
Medea.
Madea, I would say yes, but gosh, I mean, I think Graceland
Couple-
was
couple
pretty
TV shows.
awesome.
Did they shoot that in?
Days of Our Lives.
Did they shoot that in LA?
No, we actually shot that out in Florida.
Okay, I thought they
Yeah.
shot somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, Days of Our Lives was pretty awesome. I mean, that was a really fun. I feel like that was pretty big for me.
Yeah.
How big was the role?
You did a couple episodes, right? On
Did a
Days.
couple of episodes, and I played a police officer on there that was
Nice.
like uncovering a crime.
There you go.
So
Definitely had a secret then.
yeah, I had
you
yes, I had a secret. I was like, I think he did it, but I knew the secret was
Right.
the actor was away, so he took a vacation. But you know. And then, yeah, I mean, 2017, gosh, I keep getting my dates mixed up. No, 2017 is when I did Medea's
Madea.
family funeral. And yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, a funeral was awesome.
Yeah. If you see the movie, the funeral was very awesome.
But you were like an extra on a Tyler Perry movie at one point, right?
Yeah,
So
and
did
two-
you have any relationship with Tyler Perry as an extra or any of the production?
No, I mean, it's so funny because I met Tyler Perry through Dr. Maya Angelou, who
You were in her class, right?
I was in her
You felt like
class.
a caged
Wow.
bird in that class. It was so tough.
Actually, I felt like a bird out of the cage in that class,
there
you
you
know?
go.
No, it was, gosh, I mean, I actually hit up one of my fellow classmates who took that class with me to be like, yo, can you send me the books that we had or something? Because I lost a lot of that stuff when I moved here, but that was such an awesome class to learn poetry from Dr.
That's
Maya
insane.
Angelou.
What's your
Yeah.
favorite poem of hers?
Oh gosh,
So many.
Phenomenal Woman, Still I Rise.
Erin's quite the
You
poet.
named
herself.
all the ones I could name.
Yeah, Woman Work. Like she has so many.
A lot of ones that have like woman and like a verb or something before.
Yeah. No, she was awesome, and she looked out for me while I was in North Carolina, and and she was the one that connected me with Tyler Perry and had me
For the extra role.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to just be a general meeting. That's what it was supposed to be.
Okay.
And they were in the middle of filming Madea Goes to Jail. And so
I lost count of how many there are. There's
There-
a lot.
either 10 or 12.
People
There's a
keep
lot of
going.
them,
People keep watching.
Medea keeps
Yeah.
going
I
somewhere.
know, yeah.
You know? Medea's dead is the last one.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. So, I don't know, but I don't know if she's quite dead yet.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, so I ended up going there while they were filming Madea Goes to Jail, and it was their last day of filming. And Tyler was like, "You want to be in the movie?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was just like, we don't have any roles for you. Like, this is our last day. Everything's been cast. And he was like, "You could be in this the scene with these people." And I was like, "Okay." And so I get in the makeup chair with these people.
How old were you, roughly?
Oh God, how old was I? Was out of college. It was 2008.
Okay, cool.
However old that makes
All right,
you.
you don't need to say
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm trying to.
but
I
was just
seriously
wondering what
can't
year.
remember.
We don't care about numbers here.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm a young girl. But I get in the hair and makeup chair, and Viola Davis is sitting next to me, and Keisha Knight Pulliam, who played Rudy on the Cosby Show, she's
Yeah.
like next to me too. So those are the two women I was in the scene with as an extra. And, over the years after that, I had auditioned for Tyler Perry. Like, gosh.
Now, is he ever in the room when you auditioned?
Yeah, there was a
initially?
couple
Yeah.
times I auditioned. I was working at a restaurant out here in LA.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't serve on him, but I was like, the table next to him, and I was like, "Hey," and
Yeah. He knew he remembers you.
it's hard to tell. I don't
Yeah.
know if he did remember me.
He was
or
like,
not.
"Hey."
Yeah. Like, I mean, he was very, he's a businbusinessman, so he was very
Yeah.
focused, but on what he had going on.
He was like, "Could I get a refill?"
Yeah, exactly. He was like on his phone, and I was like, "Hey,
Okay.
you remember me?" But I was like, you know what? Let me not get fired.
You probably dropped
So-
the Maya Angelou name when you saw him again.
I never did when I saw him around because it's just such a, I didn't know how to bring it up or whatever. But I did have a feeling, though, a couple times when I tested for him for other stuff that he, knew who I was. But, hats off to him because, it's really easy to, kind of pull that card a little bit in this business. Like, oh, I know that person. And which
Sure.
I actually don't have a problem with that. But he never really played that, he never was like, oh, that's the girl from that Dr. Angelo. Like,
Right.
it was all about can she act? Can she do the role? Is she right
good
for this
fit?
project?
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, I mean, I promise you, I probably auditioned for Tyler maybe 20 times after.
And you're like, "Are you messing with me, sir?"
Yeah, I was just like, oh, am I
Yeah.
what's going on here?
Right.
And then, I mean, even before Medea's family funeral, I auditioned for another project of his,
He's got so
year
many.
prior. Yeah.
Meet the Browns.
I can't even name all of them.
The
There's so
haves
many.
and the have-nots. And
And this was for the that show that was on TLC.
Meet the Browns.
No, not Meet
That
the
was
Browns.
TBS.
Yeah,
It
sorry.
was,
TBS. You're right.
anyway, I can't remember, but I tested for his in front of his producer for that one, and I was like, I'm gonna get this one, and nothing happened. So I was like, wow, okay, this is a really tough cookie.
Tyler's got jokes.
Yeah,
He's got jokes.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So I ended up just putting myself on tape for Medea's family funeral and didn't think much of it.
Booked
And a couple of weeks later, I ended up booking it. And so then I ended up going to Atlanta, and then we ended up shooting this movie. And I was like, wow. And it was a very special time because I just felt like something was happening, just again,
wheels
on
were just kinda
on a
turning.
deeper level, and we just, when we got there, we all had these, crazy stories of how broke we were or how we were struggling. And, some people going through these crazy breakups and just, and we got to do this movie together and just had so much fun and was laughing, and Tyler was making jokes, and, we had such a great time working on this movie, and we just knew that it was something, just whatever came out of it, you know, at the end of the day didn't matter, but we just knew that it was something special that we had all been a part of. And then 2 years later it came out. And so, you know.
And you finally got to have like a relationship with him that was separate from, you know, Dr.
Yeah.
Like, was he
yeah.
close with the cast?
Yeah, he was. I mean,
He was also part of the cast.
he was part of the cast. And that's what also made it really fun too, because when he's,
Does he stay in character? That's what I was gonna ask.
a couple times, yeah. And it's so, it's
enough
so,
already.
Crafty.
such a paradox, you know, because
Yeah.
because he plays 3 characters in the movie. And so, you know, he would do the characters and then, you know, have to also like switch it off and go into director mode. So he would still be in costume.
He was directing it as well.
Yes.
So it's like you're getting directed by Madea. and you're
Yeah.
like,
And then you're getting directed by Uncle Joe and then Uncle Heathrow. You're like,
And then Medea's like, where are these red vines? I want red
yeah,
vines.
exactly. It was just like, it was so like
So
crazy.
confusing.
Yeah.
But does he drop the voice?
He doesn't drop anything. He's a consummate professional.
Yeah. Like it was funny because like he will, like when he was Madea, you know, and then like he'll, you know, turn the cameras and then be director, and he would just be like, okay, move the chair there, do this, do that, da, 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 da. And then he'd be like, okay, action, you know, and we're like, wait,
Yeah.
who, like what, like, who's
Yeah.
talking right now, you know? But then it was funny too, because when he's in character as that person, he's also directing too at the same time. So it was like the same thing, or he's like,
but that character's directing now.
yeah. And then he would be like, Madea, 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 and then like, action. No, Madea, Madea, Madea. Cut. And it's like,
Yeah.
what? You know? So
Was he watching playback after, or was
Yeah.
he just kind of trusting whoever like the DP was?
no,
like,
he
"You
was
got
watching
it,"
playback.
every time. Mm-hmm. Wow.
And it's so cool the way they had it set up for him is, you know, he had like an iPad that had all the monitors and stuff on it. So they would just like hand it to him after the shot is set up, and he'd like look at it and be like, okay, that's a good shot. I like that. All right, great. And hand the iPad back and be like,
just
okay,
continue.
action, you know? So
Was there ever anything like to himself? I didn't like what I did, or like that, or was he just like, nah, that was great?
About himself?
About himself.
you know, I can't remember it. I don't think so. I mean, you know, he's been doing it for such a long time that he
Yeah.
just has it down to a science. And so
Yeah.
he's just like, this is how we
Just
do it.
moves.
That was me snapping, by the way.
For the folks at home.
There it
Yeah.
is. Oh, there we go.
And he writes them too, right?
He writes them, he produces, he directs,
So does he allow
and he acts in some of them.
actors to ad lib or?
Yeah. That is the thing that I,
Sirens.
that is the thing that was really cool about working with him is to be able to make it your own and, you know, just add your little flavor here and there. And I mean, before I booked it, you know, a couple friends of mine that I worked with him, they told me that they're like, you know, it'd be smart for you to just have a couple just lines in your back pocket of like, you know,
ready to go.
just throw this in here if you know, see how he reacts to it, if he likes it or not. And, you know,
What was your line?
oh gosh, I can't even remember now. That was like
Put her
a
on the
while
spot.
ago, but I don't know.
Let's do the audition right here, right now.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think I definitely added a couple
like,
oh,
what's
Madea, you know, type of stuff.
Yeah.
Madea, you crazy. Like,
Exactly.
you know, but yeah, so it was definitely fun, and I like the looseness of it, you know.
Right.
So
Go ahead.
So he loved working with you so much. By the time he's ready to shoot The Oval, Wednesdays, BET,
yeah,
he said, I need Ciara to play a part in this. Straight contract or whatever.
I hope that's what happened. Yeah, I mean, it was the same process. You know, I had to audition as well. I had to go and test for it as well. There were a lot of people there.
But this time, you've worked with him before.
I've worked with them before.
Have a little in.
I had maybe
Pep
a
in.
toe in.
Pep in
you
your
know?
step. You're like, guys, I got this.
Yeah, and so, you know, I mean, it still didn't take away the fact, like, I think we're always going to be nervous when we go into those situations, but I definitely felt more just confident and just more like, hey, I'm just going to, you know, take the leap and see what happens. And, you know, while I was actually testing for that, right before I had flown out to New York because I had to go to the premiere. She's Got to Have It, because I did a couple episodes.
right?
Yeah, on Netflix. I did a couple episodes of that. And so those days I was in New York and we, you know, were preparing to go and do the red carpet, do the premiere stuff. And then I get the call saying, oh, no, you actually have to go down to Atlanta. And this was the day of the premiere. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna surrender. You know, like we just
Yeah.
did this big, like, you know, migration, got all the stylists and hair and all this stuff ready for the red carpet, and now I gotta, like, you know, and
Take
then
off.
I was also auditioning for both shows, both Sisters and The Oval. So they sent me the scripts, they sent me all this
So
stuff.
there's a bunch of stuff to prepare for.
It was a lot, you know, and the place that I was staying at, we didn't have a printer, so I had to like go down 125th Street, go to Kinko's, print everything out. Like,
Yeah.
Make sure you don't
just-
leave it in the copy.
Exactly. And so it was just like, you know, I think I had gotten off the plane like that Wednesday morning. By that afternoon, I found out about I had to fly out to Atlanta the next day. So I was just like trying to get all my lines right. My boyfriend's like helping me, like just trying to get everything together. Then I get on a 6 a.m. flight the next day, go down to Atlanta. And by that time, I was just like, you know, whatever is like meant to be is going to be. Like, you know, I did all I can do. You know, I don't know if I even remember these lines or whatever. Like, maybe I could throw some extra things in there. I didn't
Yeah.
even have like anything really to wear. So I just like kind of like threw like this dress on that,
Yeah.
you know, and so I went in there and I just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna just try to just bring my essence to it and just see what happens. So
Nice. And I've heard that once you've worked with him, he likes to keep bringing you in for stuff. I had a friend that was on multiple episodes of The Haves and the Have-Nots.
oh, nice.
And he said that like he's so cool, and then like he would just constantly bring him back for more stuff.
Kevin?
'Cause- yeah. Because he was just
Nice.
like, we got along so well.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I think, you know, that's always what I heard too. And, you know, during that process of me like auditioning for those 20 other projects, I was
Yeah.
like, I guess I was an extra, so he probably didn't really get
He's
to
like,
like,
is she cool to hang out with?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like-
I don't know. Let's find out.
Is she cool by the 20th day?
yeah. And so, but I think that, I think a lot of directors are like that. I mean, you know, I just heard Martin Scorsese had that table talk with Joe Pesci and Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, just talking about
Oh, the one on Netflix?
Mhm,
Yeah,
on
the
Netflix.
conversation. Yeah, that was great.
and just talking about the idea of, you know, bringing someone new into that relationship
Right.
that they've had for the last 20, 30 years and how challenging it would be. And so I think a lot of what we do, you know, does require a lot of trust and a lot of like good vibes and everything. And so, you know, I feel like, yeah, doing Medea's family funeral definitely helped, you know, for him to like kind of vibe me out and me vibe him out. And then, you know, now doing the Oval. And, you know, I think also too, he really tries to hire people that can just work with his flow. I mean, he works really fast.
Yeah.
We shot the Oval in 6 weeks. We had 25 episodes.
Whoa.
Holy
And
Yikes.
Yeah. And he's
2
also-
takes and moving on.
Sometimes not even two, you know.
okay.
And
How
and
long
he's
is
also-
each episode?
Each episode is an hour.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a
and he was
lot.
also filming Sisters at the same time. And so, you know, it's really quick stuff. And so you just got to go in
You're
there.
ready.
You got to hire the people that just know how to just do this. And again,
Right.
like, I think that that's where my theater background just saved my life, you know,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, especially with this work, because you got to just like live in your character. And even if you don't know your line, you don't remember it, like, you're going to respond and speak truthfully in your character, you know, while that camera is on. And so, so it was really great. And, you know, hoping we come back for season 2. And,
Oh, hell yeah.
you
We're
know.
going to make that happen.
Yeah.
Surviving Hollywood team. Let's do it.
Yeah.
IMDb says it's a soap opera, but is it a soap opera?
It's not like, doesn't look like a soap opera, right?
You know, he actually categorized it as a soap opera. That's what I heard. And
Okay.
so that's what
Yeah,
I'm
but
going to
it's-
go with. But it's a drama.
Yeah, it
you
seems
know?
to
Yeah.
be shot like a regular drama.
Right.
The only 2 shows I've seen, well, I'm going to watch The Oval. Is that's out currently?
Yeah. Huh?
Okay.
We just had our mid-season finale.
Well, tell us about it. Nobody even knows.
Oh,
why is
yes,
The Oval going to
yes.
be great?
The Oval is great.
Yeah?
I love The Oval. It's an addicting show because there's so much drama going on.
I've seen games people play on BET. You ever seen
Oh
that?
yeah, I auditioned for that. I remember that. Yeah.
Our friend is on that show.
Oh really?
Yeah, Sharonis. is
Okay.
A friend of ours.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so there's a couple, like BET is, you know, really shifting their network around and getting a lot of new
Yeah.
original scripted TV. And so the Oval, you know, we're on there. I believe even now it's still the #1 drama on that network.
Nice.
And it's just all about the behind the scenes of the White House. You know,
Is it more like Trump's White House or Obama's White House?
Okay.
It's
Good question.
It is. Yeah.
Gosh, that is a really good
is a good
question. I
question.
don't even know how to answer that. Because you know what? One of the really main things about it, he talks about it, it's not about the politics, you know, of
Just the
what
relationships.
it's the relationships,
Yeah.
and it's all about like the staff of the White House. So like, yes, you have the first lady and the president, and the kids, but then you get to see like, okay, well, what's the administration like? You know, what's the butler's life?
The president's obviously cheating on his wife, right?
Yeah.
So it's more like Bill Clinton's White House.
Yeah, exactly.
They all cheated, dude. They all cheated.
Okay. God bless.
We won't
America.
let her answer that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's
I don't think that's too outrageous to say that Bill Clinton cheated on his wife in the White House.
Whoa.
No. It's not outrageous. I mean,
I think it's been proven.
yeah, there was some proof.
Now I did read, and tell me if you know this or not, but that Tyler Perry does not have a writer's room. He writes every single show all on his own.
What?
Yeah.
Is that true?
I mean,
I don't even know that's how that's possible. Like that's
Especially doing
crazy.
25 episodes, then the movies, and then
Yeah, and then
yeah,
two
the
shows
way
at once. And,
his brain works, he's just always thinking of the next thing, you know. I know right when we wrapped the Oval, there was a rumor going around saying that he had already left to go on his ranch to start writing 2 new shows or writing the next season of the Oval. I don't know how true it is, but
Yeah.
Sounds-
you know, like
But you
I
were
don't
hoping
know.
it was.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like when I say I don't know how true it was, I don't know like if he had left already or if he was like already on his ranch, but like that's how his mind like just works, like in the moment and everything. I mean, he's like, oh, that's a great idea for a show, or you know, like so he just
You
talks
like
about
you're in mid conversation. He's like, "Oh, that's good. I'll write that down."
yeah. No, I mean, we had a couple of conversations like that, just like, you know, amongst the cast and, you know, with him around and stuff. And, you know, so he's definitely like
Does he ever
his
take a
mind
day
is
off?
always, you know,
is there ever a vacation?
I do know on the weekends he likes to just, you know,
Okay.
relax and everything. And then
Okay.
he has a ranch somewhere, I think in the Midwest, and that's where he likes to go
Oh.
and just like kick back and relax. And I think he also goes like to like a tropical island somewhere too and like relax. So he
okay.
definitely he works really hard, but he plays hard too.
Are you his
know?
friend now?
Am I his friend? In my head, yeah, I'm his friend. So,
Professional friend.
yeah. He, you know, he's a great boss to work with.
Yeah.
And
Seems like
so-
a great guy.
Yeah, he's a really great guy. Just very, you know, what I like about him a lot is, you know, he's very just spiritually humble. You know, he just talks a lot about faith and like, you know,
Yeah.
how he just kind of stayed the course with everything. I mean, there's just a lot to be said about a guy who was homeless and, you know, used to be a janitor, who now, you know,
Runs his own studio.
runs his own studio
Insane.
and, you know, has TV shows and, you know, successful movies and TV shows.
And
I mean,
Broadway.
yeah, I don't know if he's done Broadway, but he does his plays, yeah, that travel, you know, the country and stuff.
Off
and
Broadway.
so- yeah, and you know, I find him so inspiring to just be around and to just like work with, you know.
Yeah.
Like I was telling my boyfriend the other day, I was like, man, like that's the thing that I enjoy most about being on set is to just observe the people that are in charge or like observe the, you know, the lead actors and stuff to just see how they are as people. And I got to say, you know, when you're around Tyler, you're working with him, like, yeah, you know, he's the boss, he's the captain of the ship, but he's also just, you know, he's fun. He's a great guy to be around. I mean, sometimes at the end of the night, like he would just start playing music for the crew and everybody.
play?
Like one night, it was so funny. He started playing NSYNC songs, and we were like, "Heck
Love it.
yeah,
Love
tearing
it.
up my heart." You know, like, you know, just to keep it light because you know when you are working like that, you do get tired,
Yeah,
and
it's a
you can
lot.
get very cranky and just
Right.
you know, and so it's really cool to just you know have a boss that. You know,
He
isn't all
understands.
about like cracking the whip all the time,
Right.
you know? So,
He gets it.
yeah.
So of all the TV shows and the films and all that kind of stuff, what are you most proud of? And what advice do you have for somebody that's out there working at that restaurant that's like, I don't know if I'm gonna cut out for this. What am I gonna do?
You know, I think my body of work and as a totality, I mean, you know, even the children's theater stuff that I was doing back when I was 12 years old. I mean, I'm proud of all of it. because I truly feel that every project, you know, teaches me something. I learn something from it. I grow, you know, and I get to just discover more parts of myself that I didn't know existed, or I don't even want to share. But then it's like, oh, I get to share through this character. So I'm proud of all of the work that I've done, and you know, I'm proud too that, you know, I've stuck around this long.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, I've been in LA for 10 years, but I was also in New York for a couple years. I did this in college. Went to performing arts high school. So, you know, it's definitely been maybe 20 years now in the making. But yeah, that is all of that I'm proud of. The highs and the extreme lows. I mean, I think it's all made me a better person, better artist, better woman, you know, all throughout. And so it's definitely made me a better teacher as well. And so when I talk to people who want to do this and, you know, go into this business, you know, that's the main thing I say to them is just like, know who you are, first of all. You're not going to always have the answer. You know, you can't just like go, I am this. Like, you know, that's always ever changing, ever evolving. But, you know, just know who you are on the inside, you know, trust your gut. You know, if this is a calling that you have, you know, there's a reason why you have that calling. There's a why, and you can also search for that and find the answer to that. But, you know, who you are and why you're doing what you're doing is going to always serve you in when you are trying to figure out, should I keep going or should I not? You know, or, you know, should I do this project or should I not? Or if you're in a compromising position, you know, should I do what this person's asking me or should I not?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's.
Do you feel like people ever try to change who you were?
Oh yeah,
Like
and
agents
I think
mostly, or
yeah, and you know, but also too, you know, there's a big part of my career where I didn't know who I was. You know, I tried to be, you know, all the things that I thought, you know, would appease all the powers that be, you know, and I really think over the last couple of years is when I really started to just get grounded in who I was and being like, okay, this is the type of woman I am. This is the type of actress I am. These are the type of projects. But
and what do you feel that is?
Yeah, what is that for you?
Like for you specifically?
you know, I'm still defining it honestly. But you know, I would say one of the main things is when I was in college. You know, they always, you know, would try to put me in the background, or you know, say I was too strong to play this role, or too tall, or you know, I'm black, or, you know, that type of stuff. And so I try to not be those things. You know, I try to lessen myself to try to fit into, oh, well, you know, let me be more girl next door, or let me try to, you know, up my quirkiness even more so I can, you know, fit in and be, you know, one of the leads in the plays, or, you know, that type of stuff. And, you know, I tried doing that for so long, just even in my career, and it never was authentic or genuine, you know, to who I was. And so, you know, even when I first came out here, you know, I've always gotten this note from people like, you know, you're very sophisticated, or, you know, like you have like a mature quality about you. And I used to just try to like push that off and just try to be like, no, I'm not, like, don't say that about me.
Didn't do something silly.
Yeah. But, you know, I've started owning that for the last couple years, and it's not look at it as a bad thing. And I don't know why I always thought it was a bad thing, you know? Right. And I'm still, you know, like I'm Ciara. I'm still fun. I'm light. You know, I have my quirky moments, but you know, I definitely stand firm in my beliefs on things, and you know, I'm strong. I am sophisticated. You know, I feel comfortable in my sensuality, and so all those things I bring to my characters. And a lot of times, my characters teach me how to be okay with that, you know, how to be okay with being vulnerable, how to be okay with being strong, and how to be okay with fighting, and how to be okay with, you know, standing in front of the camera in a swimsuit, you know, like stuff like that. And so everybody's journey is different, you know, I you know, especially us women in this industry. And so I think finally over the last couple of years, I just started to really grow into who I am and who I feel like I'm meant to be. And that's an ongoing journey. So, you know, stay tuned, more to come.
Nice.
Whoa, I love it.
And then besides the acting, I know you also have a cosmetic line as well.
Are you vegan?
I am vegan.
These guys are vegan.
Yay.
Hey.
Shout out vegan power. Oh.
Vegan. I
I'm
don't even know
supportive.
what the sign for vegan would be, but I'd be like,
I don't know.
What's up?
Peace.
We're
Peace.
not
Yeah.
ordering that meatloaf.
Nah. I don't think I ever ate meatloaf, or I never liked it whenever I had it. So, but yeah, so Sincerely Cosmetics. I'm actually, in a process right now where I'm trying to repackage and rebrand the whole company, and but I love it. It's all vegan, toxic free.
Awesome.
Because I just want to
Rebrand. That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do.
Dumping
at
all the old materials and
exactly, and it's hard,
Yeah.
But I sold a lot of stuff, so I don't have that much,
Okay.
left. But yeah, I even more so just want to get more into just like natural, holistic health products and cosmetic products, and so I just want to like just strip my brand back even more and just also minimalize it as well, because there's such an array of things, and I'm like, getting true to the type of colors that I wear. I want to like just take it. I mean, obviously serve my customers.
in terms of
but
packaging, you mean?
Is this an online business or are there
it
brick
is
and
a-
mortar?
It is an online business, and all the shipments come from me.
And why did you decide to do this?
Because
Yeah, I mean,
just-
you're already successful. Why would you need
You're
to?
like, well, let's take on a whole new other endeavor.
well, no. Well, thank you guys. I have really sensitive skin,
Okay.
and so that was also a really challenging thing when I would book a job and go on it and get in a makeup chair, and I'd be like, okay, I can't wear that, I can't wear that, I can't wear that. And I'm like, oh, wait, what can you wear? And lipstick had always been a really big thing for me, because I'm allergic to a lot of the ingredients in a lot of lipsticks nowadays. And I was like, man, I have to figure this out, because I can't book these jobs and be an actress and not be able to wear red lipstick if they want me to or need me to. And so I was just in my kitchen. My dad was visiting me, and I was like literally taking crushed beet powder, mixing it up with like coconut oil and like all these other like little things. And I just started making this stuff myself, and thank God I was able to find a manufacturer that can help me, manufacture and package this stuff. But that's how it came about, because I wanted to bring my own stuff to set
Yeah.
that I could wear.
That's cool.
And so
You're wearing it now?
I am wearing Influence right now,
Beautiful.
the color.
And Edgar told us that you have samples for all of us.
I don't know why Edgar said that,
Edgar?
but sure, yeah.
Well, we'll get to that at the end, but I do have one last question. How do you know when to get a PR rep for you? At what point in your career?
What point in your career? I definitely think when you have something that you're a part of that's going out into the world, you need help with that big time. I played around with doing the PR stuff even prior to Medea's Family Funeral coming out. And at one point, I was doing it myself. I mean, we're all doing it on some level because we have social media and everything. I don't know how much trouble I would get into by saying this or even recommending this to some actors, but I was, moonlighting as my own publicist a couple of times.
You got the fake email.
Fake
email.
email,
Oh, yeah.
getting myself on red carpets and stuff like that. And, just rocking it out that way. And I think that having a publicist is important. Even, if you don't have something big coming out or anything, like it's kind of cool to get with a publicist, even prior to that, to just start thinking about your brand, start thinking about, events and certain, things that you want to go to, or even like press that's out there, because that's a whole world that, I've learned through working with my publicist, and there's a lot out there, and there's only so much you can do on your own as an actor. So you definitely, you need a cheerleader, and, you need somebody that's gonna get you here talking about, surviving Hollywood.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any one last piece of advice for someone out there
Or anything we forgot to talk about?
at that, or anything else you want to talk about?
I have to plug the Michael Storter Foundation. That is my nonprofit organization where I work with kids in underserved communities and
It's
teach
named
them.
after.
It's after. Well, I'm Michael Storter, so my dad's
Right.
name is Michael.
We didn't talk about that.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, and but we might go over time if I do. But basically, it's a organization where I work with kids in underserved communities, and underserved meaning that they don't have a lot of access to arts programs, and also other resources as well. And so I teach them how to write a play or write a movie, and we put it up and have it shown to the city of Los Angeles and in the world at large.
A full 100-page movie?
No, it's a short film, and that's the big thing I try to teach them. I'm like, let's keep this thing to
Keep it simple.
to 5 pages.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah. So, but they're like, we want to do a full movie, and I'm like, Miss Ciara does not have it in her to do a full movie. Like,
There's nothing worse than a long short.
Yeah. Tell me, I've done that.
Ciara knows.
Classic eye roll.
Yeah. So.
And then the part of that project was also something to do with, did that come from a play that you had done, a one-woman play?
Yeah,
I think I remember reading
Michael's daughter.
Yeah.
So I had a play that I did that was about my life and having my father be incarcerated. And so just what that
Told
really,
through letters?
through letters.
Okay.
Yeah. So, he had written me letters and I had written him back. And so I was like, there's something here. And
At what age was he incarcerated?
well, this was not too long ago. I mean, this was when I was living out here in LA that he, he was incarcerated. Well, when I had first moved to New York, and then throughout me living out here in LA, and it was a part of me. I just wanted to honor his story, but also like share my story too with our community out here in Los Angeles, and also just let people know out here that there's more to me than what I was like going in for, and what I saw where I was starting to like kind of get into get labeled, or what is it? Not so much typecast, but there was definitely
Kind
a
of
lane that
pigeonholed, sort of?
yeah.
What did you feel like you were getting thrown into as?
It was definitely, some roles were just like hypersexualized, or like the lead guy's girlfriend, and and nothing wrong with those roles, but I felt like I had something, more to offer.
Yeah.
And it's funny now saying it, because it's just like, content is content, and it's just like, I can't go in there and be like, I'm not gonna play the sexy girl, but I'm gonna play the girl that's, talk about her dad's in prison, like type of thing. And so, but hey, for me, I just wanted people to just like hear my story, and just also see like,
you have more
hey,
depth.
like this girl has something else going on, and like she can do those other roles, but like, let's hear her story, see what's going on with her, and maybe that can be a part of something down the line where I'm playing a character that comes from that background or something. So that's how that came about, and I had some success around doing that, and then I was like, what, I love working with young people. Let me create my own foundation. So
Nice. That's amazing.
Nice.
How often do you do that?
It's once a year.
Okay.
We do
One same school, or?
No, I actually do it in Panorama City.
Okay.
And so that's the 6th district. And so Los Angeles Department of Cultural Affairs, they fund the program to have it out there. But I also, I've taught at different high schools and stuff throughout the year. And
I used to do that for the East LA Classic Theater.
Oh yeah,
we used to
I'm
go
familiar
to
with
like
that.
schools
Yeah.
and like teach kids that don't have arts programs and stuff like that.
But you quit.
No, the program fell apart.
Oh.
But
unfortunately, a lot of those programs
funding
don't
and
have
stuff.
the funding.
It just it doesn't work.
Yeah, but I love it. I love working with young people. I see myself in them all the time, especially in our communities like that, that are, underserved, or, a lot of students I've had over the years, they've had parents incarcerated, or, are dealing with an array of issues at home. And so, for me, art was that thing that really just gave me a healthy outlet. And so I'm like, hey, this is what I can give you
back.
guys, know, so.
Awesome. It's really great.
Thanks.
Any plugs? Where can people find you?
People want to follow you.
The cosmetic line? Where can they buy some?
Yes, you can go to sincerelycosmetics.com.
Okay.
There's still some inventory left, and I'm
Going fast.
Going fast.
There it is.
It's gone. Sorry, I missed it.
Yikes. I just put in my order.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm also on Instagram and Twitter at Ciera Payton. And then there's always my website, ciarapayton.com. So
Love it.
yeah.
Love it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for,
This
for
is
coming.
awesome.
Really appreciate it. You were amazing.
Yeah. I'm going to be watching The Oval on Wednesdays.
Yes.
The Oval
Oh, yeah, make
is
sure to tune
on
in.
Wednesdays on BET at 9 Central, 10 Eastern. So
Okay.
Tweet about it. Whatever
tweet
it
about
takes.
it.
And you heard it here. Season 2 is coming.
It's coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. It's in the books. So I can't wait for you guys to see what happens to Lily next.
Yeah.
That is
Awesome.
awesome. Thank you.
Cool.